Welcome to Solving Quadratic Equations. Key points to remember from what we've learnt from our previous videos is firstly the null factor, that to solve any quadratic it must equal to 0. And then you look at whether you can factorise, and if you can, you would then solve it. So using either a common factor, PSF, or a difference of two squares. Otherwise, you can use completing the square or the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula needs to be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So the a is the value in front of the x squared, the b is the value in front of the x, and the c is the constant on the end. The quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, if we had an example of x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals to 0, so the quadratic's already equal to 0, we could use PSF. So the product is 12, the sum is 7, giving us factors of 4 and 3. So we split that middle term, 7x, up into 4x and 3x, and then we solve by using grouping in pairs. So the common factor of the front is x outside of x plus 4. Out of the second is 3 outside of x plus 4, giving us two brackets of x plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. And then we allow the first bracket to equal to 0, so x plus 4 equals 0, or the second bracket of x plus 3 equals 0. Giving us solutions of x equals minus 4 or x equals minus 3. Example 2. 3x squared minus x minus 2 equals to 0. So our product is 3 times minus 2, which is minus 6. Our sum is minus 1, giving us factors of minus 3 and 2. Once again, the minus 3 and 2 split that middle term up into minus 3x plus 2x. And then we group in pairs 3x outside of x minus 1 plus 2 outside of x minus 1 equals to 0, giving us brackets of 3x plus 2 and x minus 1. You let each bracket equal to 0 and solve, giving us minus 2/3 or x equals 1. The third example, x squared plus x minus 1 equals to 0. So the product is minus 1, the sum is 1, and there's not two numbers that we can come up with very quickly to find that work for this. So we don't have potential factors. So we're going to need to use the quadratic formula. So in this example, our a is the number in front of x squared, which is 1. B is the number in front of the x, which is also 1, and c is the constant on the end, minus 1. Substituting into our formula, we get minus 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 1, all over 2 times 1. And as I've said in the previous videos, do what's underneath the square root, the 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 1, which gives you an answer of 5. Now we could go on and solve this as a decimal, but this is an exact answer. So our solution is minus 1 plus root 5 over 2, or minus 1 minus root 5 over 2. A reminder when using the quadratic formula that we saw in the last video, if b squared minus 4ac, that's underneath the square root, is greater than 0, that's positive, then you end up with two different solutions. If b squared minus 4ac equals to 0, you get two of the same solutions, or just one solution. And if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that is that it's negative. Since you can't take the square root of a negative, there are no solutions. So to recap, the null factor, the quadratic must equal to 0. Factorise first, so a common factor, PSF, or a difference of two squares, then solve, otherwise completing the square or the quadratic formula. Thank you.